This is the Brook Wingman XB3 converter. This converter allows you to use various different controllers on an Xbox Series X, S, Xbox One, or a PC. And you can also use it wirelessly through Bluetooth if you have a Bluetooth compatible controller. Now, if you're a collector of controllers, you would probably already know how convenient this little converter can be. I personally own a lot of different controllers. Sometimes I'll even switch my controller based on the game. For instance, I use a fight stick for fighting games, and I use a pad controller for shooters, but I also change out my stick depending on which fighting game I'm playing. With this converter, I can use any one of my fighting game sticks with my fighting games. I really like that I can use my Xbox 360 wired controller because most of the games in my game library are backward compatible on the Xbox Series, so it comes in real handy when I want to play one of my older generation games like Rainbow Six Vegas. Since the Xbox 360 wired controller is hands down my absolute favorite controller ever. With this converter, I can use that Xbox 360 wired controller on my Xbox Series. I know there was a lot of talk recently, maybe a couple years ago, about converters not working on the Xbox Series. With the Wingman XB3, I can confirm that it does work on the Xbox Series console. My husband Thrustysall and we run fighting game tournaments at majors and locals. And we've tested it pretty in depth, and every controller works on the Xbox Series with that Brook Wingman XB3 converter. We use 2 converters at each setup, and it's a miracle worker. We love it. I think one of the biggest questions from people is, will using a converter add additional delay? So I tested a couple of different fighting games with my Xbox Series official controller, and then I switched over to using the Brook Wingman XB3 with a PlayStation 5 fight stick. Now I did this using the Hori Alpha. I own the Hori Alpha Xbox Series fight stick and the Hori Alpha PlayStation 5 fighting stick. Now in my experience, I did not feel any additional delay when using the Hori PlayStation 5 controller. However, I was using it on PS4 mode. When I used that fight stick and switched it to PS5 mode, I did notice a slight increase in delay. This can be alleviated by choosing the PS4 mode instead of the PS5 mode on your controller. The final thing I wanted to add was every fighting game tournament we've run so far, only one controller did not work with the converter, but the controller also didn't work with any converters and has issues on its own. I even contacted the manufacturer and found out that the firmware it was released with had an issue with double inputs that had to be fixed with a firmware update. A couple of my friends own that controller and they stopped using it altogether. After talking with my friends about that controller, I strongly believe it's an issue with the controller itself rather than with the converter. So, what is my opinion on the Brook Wingman XB3 converter? I strongly recommend using it if you want to use your favorite controller with an Xbox Series. I would definitely buy it. While I was putting this review together, I had a couple of organizers reach out to me asking which converters I use for the events that I run. So I made it easy and added a link in the description where you can purchase the Brook Wingman XB3 converter. That link will bring you directly to the product page where you can add it to your cart. Happy gaming!